Hello, and let's go over the custom UV vertical panel setter. This is going to be a little bit longer video because it's a little bit hard to explain, but let's just go with the flow. First off, you kind of need a mesh that has separate vertex colors. So there, this one has red vertex colors only, this one has green vertex colors only, this part of the mesh has only blue vertex colors, and this one only has alpha set to 100. The other three don't have alpha set to 100, but to 0. That's kind of what you need to do. And when you use that specific mesh in here, you see that it's all the same sprite applied to each part of it. Now I need to plug this into a custom UV. So how do I get custom UVs? I go down a little bit and set it to here. Now I know that this mesh only has one UV, UV0 or UV1 in max, whatever. So there. And now I can plug this into the custom UVs. There's already a debug timestamp going on here. So what's happening here? It's offsetting each vertex color a little bit. Might gradient be a good way to show that? That might actually work. Let me remove that for a second. As you can see, it's panning with an offset, each one of them. And it starts over again, and then slowly pans each over time. Let me set those back again. There. Now, let's say I want a bigger or smaller delay between each. You can use the delay input. The delay of 0, they should all be at the same time. It's in percentages, so if I want like 100% offset, first one starts and there. At 50%, about halfway in of the first one, the second one starts halfway there, the third one starts halfway there, the fourth one starts. That way you can have some more variation between each effect. Another good way will be to try that with this particular mesh. It's a bit more like a curvy, wavy one. And again, it has vertex colors applied to them, if I'm correct. Wrong mesh, I think. There we go. Now this is a curve mesh, or sweeper, or roller coaster, whatever you want to call it. And when I apply that to this material, you get something like this. Let me enable two-sided, that makes it look a little bit better. And they're curving around now. Okay. Now, what can we do with the UVs? That's basically just to change the UV channel in case your mesh has multiple UV channels. You don't really need to touch it. And 0 to 1 time is basically where you want to have it controlled through blueprint, a dynamic parameter, particle relative time, that kind of thing. So if I add a time sign here and plug it in, it moves from back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to grab that other mesh for a second so you can see it a little bit better. But you can also use a dynamic parameter, a particle relative time. So this is basically if it's emitted from 0 or birth of its lifetime to 1, the death of it. You can control through that whatever you want. For now, just the regular time is fine. Another way to do this is just grab a time. Make sure that there's a period of like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Plug it in, and it will just loop after 1 second. 2, then there will be a second delay between them. Let's set it back to 1. Let's see. Another good way to maybe show this is with particle color, or actually vertex color, sorry. Plug that into the emissive slope. That way you can see each vertex color being active. Now if I make that delay like 200, there's a delay of 200. So If the one is like about a second away now, relative time, then the other one goes. Generally, a value below 100 is better, but it's all up to you, of course. Now, how do you want, what should I do to squeeze this texture to make it smaller? You can probably use the UV. I'm going to try and use both. I'm going to get the scale by center. There, and let's just plug it into the UV. And change the texture scale with a factor 2. There. I'm going to set this to 0.4 maybe, and 1. Now you have small ones, but as you can see, the offset is a little bit weird. So what can we do to change that? Well, the simplest way will be to actually use it on this side. There. And now it works properly. There. And you can tweak these values, of course. Maybe you want it really long, though that might not work properly. But at 1.5 should still work. As you can see the ends here. So generally you want this below 1, probably. 0.2. Very tiny ones. There. Maybe you want them thinner. That's all up to you. That's basically what it does, and it can give you quite some nice results, as you can see here. So to iterate, you need a mesh with at least 4 vertex colors: a red one, green vertex color, blue vertex color, all 3 with alpha set to 0, and one that doesn't have any colors with alpha set to 100. And that way you can move them separately. Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to go over the other custom UV ones now.